Gentleness, the strength of a devout soul. Welcome back to our series on Introduction to the Devout Life by St. Francis de Sales. In our last episode, we explored the virtue of humility and how it serves as the foundation of holiness. And today, we will be looking at another virtue that St. Francis holds in high regard: gentleness. Often misunderstood as a sign of weakness, gentleness is actually a profound strength. It allows us to respond to life's challenges with peace and love. Let's dive into how we can cultivate this beautiful virtue in our ministries and everyday life. What is true gentleness? Gentleness, according to St. Francis de Sales, is a strength that stems from a peaceful heart. It's the ability to remain calm, patient, and kind even in difficult situations. True gentleness is not about being passive or weak. It's about having control over our emotions and choosing to respond with love rather than anger or harshness. Gentleness, St. Francis de Sales tells us, is like a breeze that gently moves the branches of a tree. It's firm enough to accomplish what needs to be done, but soft enough not to break anything in the process. As religious priests and seminarians, this virtue is crucial in our work with others, whether we are leading, teaching, or offering pastoral care. For example, think of a teacher who, instead of reacting with frustration when a student misbehaves, responds with calmness and understanding. This approach doesn't ignore the problem but addresses it with compassion, allowing the student to grow. Gentleness in leadership or ministry builds trust and opens hearts to God's love. Gentleness with ourselves. St. Francis de Sales not only emphasizes the importance of being gentle with others, but also encourages us to practice gentleness with ourselves. Often, we are our own harshest critics, expecting perfection and becoming frustrated when we fall short. But St. Francis de Sales reminds us that self-improvement is a gradual process, and we need to treat ourselves with the same patience and kindness we offer to others. Gentleness with ourselves means acknowledging our weaknesses without becoming discouraged. It means making efforts to improve, but not demanding perfection. When we are gentle with ourselves, we open the door for God's grace to work in our hearts, allowing us to grow at the pace He sets for us. Gentleness in ministry and community life. In our ministries and community life, gentleness is one of the most powerful tools we have to foster peace and unity. St. Francis de Sales teaches that a gentle approach can diffuse conflict, ease tension, and create a welcoming environment where people feel safe and heard. Whether you are working in a parish, teaching, or living in community with others, situations will arise where misunderstandings or conflicts occur. Gentleness helps us to approach these moments not with aggression or defensiveness, but with patience, understanding, and a sincere desire for reconciliation. It creates an atmosphere where others feel valued, respected, and more willing to listen. For example, imagine a parishioner who is upset about a decision made by the church. Instead of reacting defensively, a gentle priest listens carefully, acknowledges the person's feelings, and responds with kindness. This not only diffuses the situation but also strengthens the bond between the priest and his parishioner. Gentleness transforms potentially divisive moments into opportunities for connection. Practicing gentleness daily. So, how do we cultivate gentleness in our daily lives? St. Francis offers some practical advice on how to do this. Tip 1. Respond, don't react. When faced with a difficult situation, take a moment to pause before responding. This pause gives you the space to choose a gentle response rather than reacting impulsively with frustration or anger. Step 2. Speak with kindness. Focus on speaking kindly in all your interactions, even when correcting or offering advice. Words spoken in gentleness are far more effective than those spoken in anger or criticism. Tip 3. Cultivate a peaceful heart. Cultivate inner peace through prayer and reflection. Gentleness flows from a peaceful heart, and that peace comes from spending time with God, seeking His grace, and letting go of the anxieties and frustrations that build up throughout the day. Gentleness as a path to true strength. St. Francis de Sales teaches us that gentleness is not a sign of weakness, but a true form of strength. It requires great inner control and discipline to remain calm and loving in the face of frustration, anger, or conflict. But when we master this virtue, we reflect the love and patience of Christ to those around us. In a world that often values power and assertiveness, gentleness stands out as a powerful witness to the gospel. It shows others that love, patience, and understanding are the true sources of strength in the Christian life. In summary, gentleness is a vital virtue for anyone living the devout life. St. Francis de Sales shows us that by cultivating gentleness, we create an atmosphere of peace, trust, and love, both in our hearts and in our communities. Whether we are working in ministry, living in community, or simply interacting with others, gentleness transforms our relationships and brings us closer to God. Let's review a few key takeaways from today's discussion on gentleness. Number 1. Gentleness is strength, not weakness. It's about having control over your emotions and responding with love rather than anger or frustration. Number 2. Be gentle with yourself. Just as we show kindness to others, we must also be patient with ourselves, recognizing that growth takes time. Third, gentleness fosters peace in ministry. By approaching others with kindness, even in difficult situations, we create an environment of trust and harmony. Fourth, pause before reacting. Taking a moment to pause before responding helps us to choose gentleness rather than reacting impulsively. And finally, cultivate a peaceful heart through prayer. Gentleness flows from a heart of peace, which we can nurture through prayer and reflection. Thank you for joining me today as we explored the virtue of gentleness. In our next episode, we will talk about the challenges of dealing with anxiety and how gentleness can help us manage it. Until then, live Jesus.